Mehran, all right, question number 38 on IFRS 13. This entire question is on IFRS 13. All right, it's a good question. Now, Mehran is a public limited company. It operates in a number of business sectors, including farming, mining, and retail. Farming, you have mining, and you have retail. The directors require advice about how to apply IFRS 13 fair value measurement. Perfect. So, discuss the way in which Mehran should fair value the above assets with reference to the principles of IFRS 13. That's your requirement. Requirement B is what? Okay, so that's a different requirement. Now you have 9 marks and 6 marks. All right. The mark allocation shown against. Okay. Mehran has just acquired a company which comprises a farming and mining business. Mehran wishes advice on how to fair value some of the assets acquired. From your F7 studies, you obviously know that you do the fair valuation exercise for the subsidiary, right? When you acquire a company, right? One such asset is a piece of land which is currently used for farming. So the current use is farming. The fair value of the land, if used for farming, is $5 million. If the land is used for farming purposes, a tax credit of 0.1 million arises. So far, what I have analyzed from the question is, I've read how many lines? 1, 2, 3, 5 lines, right? So far, what I have analyzed from the question is that this question relates to obviously fair valuation, but fair valuation of a non-financial asset. And if it relates to fair valuation of a non-financial asset, that means highest and best possible use, which is legally permissible, physically possible, and financially feasible. That is what IFRS 13 says. Current use is said to be the highest and best possible use until and unless it's specifically, if they until unless there's any other use, basically. That's what it means, right? So as long as there's no other use, right, current use is said to be the highest and best possible use. Now, just for the sake of understanding, right, partial work, I'm doing a partial working over here right away. If the use of land is farming, the fair value, obviously farming is the current use. All right, the current use of the land is farming. The fair value would be how much? $5 million? Guys, would it be $5 million? Come on, quickly. $5 million or what? 5.1. Correct. Why 5.1? Reason being, this 0.1 million of tax credit, remember one thing, fair value is the value that would be received to sell an asset at the measurement date by the market participants. All right. So what you're considering over here are the market participants, the view of the market participants, not your own personal view. Okay. So obviously, if the market participants get involved in such a transaction, they will claim this 0.1 million tax credit. So from the market participants' perspective, this value or this tax credit is relevant. Okay, so that's 5 million plus 100,000. All right, so 5.1 million. Let's read further. Mehran has determined that market participants would consider that the land could have an alternative use for residential purposes. They want to finish off the farm and they want to build, for example, a building or anything like that, and they want to use it for residential purposes, right? The fair value of the land for residential purposes before associated costs is thought to be $7.4 million. Okay. In order to transform, so the second use, alternate use is residential. Okay, I'm just doing a rough working over here. You can do this working in a, in your question as well, your choice. In order to transform, I'm reading from here, in order to transform the land from farming to residential, there would be legal costs of $200,000 because obviously farming is a commercial activity, right? And now you want to transfer the lease from commercial to residential. Okay, so the legal costs are $200,000. A viability analysis cost of $300,000, and costs of demolition of a farm buildings of $100,000. Additionally, permission for residential use has not been formally given by the legal authority, and because of this, market participants have indicated that the fair value of the land after the above costs would be discounted by 20% because of the risk of not obtaining planning permission. Because of not obtaining planning permission. My question to you is there anything else about this land? In addition, Manahan has acquired the brand name. Okay, fine. So land is done. Okay. My question to you is highest and best possible use that is physically possible, financially feasible. Obviously, it's physically possible. You demolish the farm buildings for $100,000. You do the viability analysis. You incur the legal cost. Everything is done, and you use the land for residential purposes. Okay. So it's physically possible. Obviously, it's financially feasible because there's no indication that it could not be done. The third one is legally permissible. Is there any indication whatsoever that this is legally prohibited? Is there, from the case, if you read the case again, is there any indication that this use of the land, which is residential use, which is an alternate use, is prohibited? No. Okay, there's no indication. Yes, you might have to get some approvals. You might have to get, you might have to incur some cost to get the approvals, which we're already doing up to $200,000. And the market participants are of the opinion that even if we don't get the required approvals, for example, and they've already incorporated that element within the price by discounting the price by 20%. That's what they've done, right? So the probability or the impact that legal costs could be, treated as a brokerage cost or anything like that, right? Okay, so what was I saying? Yes. The probability of you not getting the permission to start your residential planning from on this land, and the financial impact of it is basically a discount of 20% on the current value, right? Can you guys calculate the fair value of this alternate use for me? Calculate the fair value for this alternative use for me, please. I'm giving you guys 2 minutes. Now, let's calculate the value. For residential purposes, without any associated costs, it's 7.4 million. Legal cost is how much? 100,000. Then you have a viability analysis cost, I'll call it VAC, is 300,000. Then you have, and this is something that I'm not doing, I'm doing it in line with IFRS 13. This is what IFRS 13 tells us. Okay. 100,000. All right. So that's I've there's okay, legal costs are sorry, point 200,000 legal cost, viability 300,000 from, yes, that's correct. I made a mistake earlier. Legal cost is 0.2, 7.4, 0.2. Okay. Now, so that's your fair value of residential use. So obviously, this alternate use is legally permissible, physically possible. It's not like the land will not stand the the weight of the buildings and stuff. It can. It's physically possible, right? And finally, it's financially feasible as well for the market participants. That's why they've considered this alternate use. Okay. So all these three things taken into consideration, this becomes your fair value. 5.44 becomes your fair value for this land, even though the current use is farming. Now, how did I get this? Residential, the value of this land, if residential use is done without any associated costs to convert it or to bring it to its alternate use, is 7.4 million, right? Now, these are the costs that you have to incur in order to make an alternate use of this land, right? So obviously these are directly attributable costs. You cannot use this land for residential purposes without incurring these costs. Basic. That's why I've taken these costs into consideration. Now, this cost structure over here does not include the cost of converting the lease. All right. This cost structure over here does not include the cost of converting the lease, right? Or converting the land from commercial to residential. The market participants are of the belief that if this does not happen, the value of the land will be 20% lower than the converted, converted for residential use land. All right. So that's why we discount it by another 20%, and that's why I've taken 80% of this value, 6.8 million. And this essentially becomes your fair value of residential use. Okay. And since this residential use is legally permissible, physically possible, financially feasible, the highest and best use of this land is residential. Okay. You guys understand? So what everything that we're doing over here, guys, is in line with what the market participants expect. Okay. That's basic. Now, let me give you a task. We did the question, I did a question IS2 with you guys, right? I drafted that question. Okay. For this part of the question, I've taken out and I've explained each and every detail. I've explained each and every detail. The only thing that I want you to do for me is draft the answer for this part. Use a Word document or Excel, your choice. I will not accept handwritten answers because that's the thing in the past. Okay. Send me a Word document or an Excel sheet where you've drafted the answer for this. You have all the numbers, you have all the explanation that is relevant for this scenario. Okay. So I want you to, and the only thing that you have to do is explain these numbers, explain the validity of these numbers in words. That's it. That's the explanation. And that is the advice that you have to give. Okay. So that's what you have to do. This is your, I can say this is your homework. All right, or take it as a task or a homework or a practice, scenario, your choice. Let's move on to the next part. It says, in addition, Mehran has acquired the brand name associated with the produce from the farm. Mehran has decided to discontinue the brand on the assumption that it is similar to its existing brands. Listen to it very, try to figure out what it's saying carefully. Mehran acquired Mehran acquired the brand name associated with the produce from the farm, right? The farm belongs to a company which Mehran acquired, right? Mehran has decided to discontinue the brand on the assumption that it is similar to its existing brands. Mehran has determined that if it ceases to use the brand, then the indirect benefits will be $20 million. If it continues to use the brand, then the direct benefit will be $17 million. Other companies in this market do not have brands that are as strong as Mehran's, and so would not see any significant benefit from the discontinuation. What to do? What should I do? So that's the subject, right? Discontinuation of brand. Come on, guys. Give me suggestions quickly. What do you think I should do? Should I, consider discontinuation or not? Um, or you want to say not this assumption exactly? What did I do? All right, so Mehran intends to discontinue the brand. Assume so. As a result, $20 million of indirect benefits uh, the market participants there's a line: the companies in this market do not have brands that are as strong as Mehran's, and so would not see any significant benefit from this. All I'm doing is picking up points from the case and trying to make my own case. Simple. That is your answer. Right. So on the contrary, the market participants do not see any significant benefit from the discontinuation. Therefore, Mehran should, you can say that Mehran should basically, yeah. I probably missed out a line over here. Discontinuation, therefore, Mehran should. Yeah. So therefore, the brand name should stay recognized in Mehran's books. You can say that. Okay. I guess I missed that line. Okay. Just add it to your answer. Okay. So therefore, Mehran should value the brand at highest and best possible use. In which case, it should generate direct benefits of how much? 17 mil, right? You guys understand? Because if it's generating benefits of $17 million directly, right? Do you think and it's written in the case as well, the market participants do not see any necessity to discontinue this brand. So obviously the market participants, that means the companies in the market, will, if they would have been at this place, they would have, they would have continued the brand. Okay, they wouldn't have discontinued it. You understand? Guys, you get it? In this case is 17 million, because we've decided not to discontinue it. Otherwise, if we would have discontinued it, had the market participants would have the same opinion, in that case the fair value, in fact not the fair value, you wouldn't have even recognized it, right? So indirect benefits of $20 million does not make sense. Okay, exactly, you can say that. Yes. So you control the market, basically that states that no one is as strong as you. All right. Now, the last part. Let's see what that says. Mehran owns a non-controlling equity interest in Erham, a private company, and wishes to fair value it as at its financial year end of 31st March 2026. Mehran acquired the ordinary share interest in Erham on 1st April 20x4, right? So that's 2 years back. During the current year, so let me just highlight this. It's a private company. Remember, it's a private company, all right? Level 1, level 2, level 3. During the current financial year, Erham has issued further equity capital through the issue of preferred shares to a venture capital fund. All right, so this is an important transaction. As a result of the preferred share issue, the venture capital fund now holds a controlling interest in Erham. All right. So the element of control, right? Because obviously we own non-controlling equity interest in Erham, right? So the element of control has a higher valuation because the control element itself is of a certain value. Okay. The terms of preferred shares, including the voting rights, are similar to those of the ordinary shares, except that preferred shares have a cumulative fixed dividend entitlement for a period of 4 years, and the preferred shares rank ahead of the ordinary shares upon the liquidation of Erham, which is obviously an embedded characteristic of a preferred share, right? So this is something new, because that this cumulative fixed dividend entitlement for a period of 4 years, because the period is defined over here, it's a bit unique. But obviously the preferred shares rank ahead of ordinary shares at the time of liquidation. That's an embedded, it's an inherent characteristic of preferred shares, right? The transaction price for the preferred shares was $15 per share. So this is important. Okay. Just a second, my mouse is stuck. All right. Mehran wishes to know the factors which should be taken into account in measuring the fair value of their holding in the ordinary shares of Erham at 31st March 26 using a market-based approach. So market-based approach, basically your market multiples, right? In measuring the fair value of the holding in the ordinary shares. All right. So what factors do you think should be taken into consideration? We'll just list down the factors, okay? We'll just list down the factors. What factors do you think? Valuation of equity shares of Arham. That's part 2. Okay. So what factors do you think should be taken into consideration? Come on, guys. We're using the market approach. What does the market approach mean? Market approach means that whatever, let's say, is being realized or paid out, or being received in the market, right? Over here, we just saw a recent preferred stock issued to a venture capital fund. But that venture capital fund stock, the stock itself, and the quantity of that stock that allowed the venture capital fund to have a controlling share in Airham is different from what we own. All right, both qualitative and quantity wise. So we have a non-controlling interest, number one. We have ordinary shares, number two, right? So based on the market approach, what you do is you take, let's say the transaction price for the preferred shares was $15 per share, right? You start adjusting this $15 for what? There are a lot of factors, right? There are a lot of factors for which this will be adjusted. You guys understand? So this is a 6 mark requirement. I don't expect you to jump on the case directly. You first explain what the market based approach is, like the way I did. Okay, that's what you do, and then moving on, because obviously, and the reason why I've highlighted a private company, when I highlighted this, I said what? I said level 1, level 2, level 3. The level of input, the level of information that you will use to estimate the price of your share. Okay, so it's obviously not level 1, and it's certainly not level 2 as well, level 3 as well. So it's level 2, right? It's a similar instrument that has been issued, but obviously the prices need to be adjusted for the different terms of that stock, which is a preferred stock. Okay, so let's quickly discuss the factors. Come on, guys, I want your input. Ahmed, what do you think? What factors? Okay, I'll tell you the first factor, for example. Cumulative fixed dividend. All right. Preferred um preferred what is that? What is the word? They use the word specifically. Yeah. Preferred ranking at the time of liquidation. Right? I've just told you two characteristics that will affect the price. And I talked about one of the characteristics when I was reading the case. In fact, the most crucial characteristic. Come on, guys. There's a characteristic that I talked about in the very beginning, not the new issue. Yes, you can say that obviously the new issue itself becomes a characteristic, right? Because when I acquired the shares, it was, when Mehran acquired the shares, it was first April 20x4, right? And the venture capital fund has acquired during the current financial year, right? So during the current financial, after 2 years, right? So that also makes it a factor. You're right. Okay. So issue during the current year, which reflects current economic position. Whereas when I acquired it, well, that means when Mehran acquired it, the position was different, right? So obviously there's an element of you know change in this element of economic change, I would say. The factor that I'm talking about is control, the most crucial factor. Exactly. Venture fund became the, or got basically the controlling interest, right? That I believe is the most crucial factor. All right. And there's another thing that I talked about. It's a private company. All right. How do you think you can only get private buyers? You won't have anyone from the public that would be interested in buying your share, right? So the lack of, because when you buy a listed company share, what do? You go into the market, you go into the stock market, you just sell it. You all you have to do is press sell button. That's it. You have to press the sell button, and you don't even know, within seconds, right? You sell your shares and you get your cash back. You got rid of your investment. This is a different case because it's a private company, it's not listed. Okay, so you'll have to specifically go out and find the buyer for such stock. Okay, so obviously the lack of so these are mainly the factors that you can talk about, right? We've talked about how many factors, right? So 5 factors, enough for you to get the marks, right? Because obviously we'll talk about the market approach as well. That also has marks, right? Market approach in this case, and the level of inputs that you can use, okay, or the level of inputs that you will use, basically, right? So this will also get you marks. So you probably, you land around 5 out of 6 in this part. It's a relatively easier part, guys. In fact, I believe it's the easiest amongst all 3 parts. Okay, non-financial asset was a bit technical. Okay, it was a bit technical. Even with the discontinuation of brand, it was a bit technical. Okay, so like I said, your assignment is, um, basically, you have to draft this answer for me, right? This we have done. Okay, I'm not drafting it because I've already told you how to draft. Obviously, I'll tell you more about drafting when we do other questions. There's just one question that I want to show you. It's a very small question on IFRS 13, and I want you to try it from scratch. That means you read it, you solve it, you bring in the solution, and you show it to me. Okay. Again, I won't accept written answers, right? I want typed answers. This over here. Question number 21, John, fair value, 4 marks requirement. That's it, just 4 marks, right? Fair value, I guess this is the smallest, this is the least marks that we've seen in this fair valuation topic. All right, for 4 marks, you do it, you send it to me on my WhatsApp, or you email it to me at khizr.hussain@mastermindelearn.com, right? And that's about it. All right, guys. In the next class, we'll start a new topic. I'll inform you about the topic. It's going to be IS 36 impairment. Okay, so take care. Goodbye.